Okay, so welcome to this pregnancy yoga class. I'm absolutely thrilled to be part of the 10-year celebrations for the Positive Birth Company. So thank you for joining. My name's Katie and I am known as the pregnancy yoga teacher, and I specialise in pregnancy and postnatal yoga. And I absolutely love working with people who are going through this phase of life. I think it's incredibly transformational. It's an amazing time, and I think yoga is an incredible tool to help us navigate all the challenges that we face. So we're going to work through a 45-minute class. We're going to gently and safely move our bodies and hopefully find a bit of space for you to have some relaxation as well. And we're going to end the class with a guided relaxation, because personally I find when I'm practicing yoga at home, it's quite difficult to lie in Shavasana at the end because there's too many distractions. There's always something that you need to get up and get on with. So I find guided relaxations are a much better alternative because they're a bit of an anchor that just keep you calm at the end of class. So as always with a yoga class, just listen to your body. Don't push yourself too hard. If something's hurting, then it's definitely not right. So just ease off. But I really hope you enjoy it. And if you've got any questions, you can pop anything in the chat and I can answer it at the end. So we're just going to start in a comfortable seated position. Now, you can start with your legs crossed like this. We are going to be sat here for a few minutes. Personally, I find that if we're doing any sort of breath work or grounding, I quite like to sit back onto my heels. So this is quite a nice position. And if you're at home, rather than worrying about yoga props, you can just use a cushion if you want to, and just place it behind your bottom and sit back onto your heels. And that can feel quite restorative and quite supported. So just choose your seated position. Make sure you feel really nice and comfortable there. And then just find some length through the sides of the body. Roll the shoulders back and down. Find some length through the neck. Imagine there's a piece of string pulling your head all the way up to the ceiling. So we're just checking in with our posture. And maybe just close down the eyes. And we're just going to take a few minutes just to arrive in the class this evening. I can pretty much guarantee that you've been rushing around throughout the day, throughout this evening. And sometimes it just takes a few minutes just to settle in and turn the attention inwards. Maybe bring to mind the reason that you have made time for yourself this evening. Maybe it's to move your body, introduce a little bit of exercise into your pregnant body. Maybe it's to find some peace, still the mind. Maybe practice some breath work. Maybe it's to make some time to connect with baby. Whatever the reason, just hold that thought right in the front of your mind, maybe in the space between your eyebrows. And give yourself permission to be here. Find a feeling of gratitude for yourself for making this time. And if that feels quite difficult, maybe direct that gratitude towards someone else for making it possible for you to take this time for yourself. Now just bring your attention to the breath. And maybe you can inhale through the nose and exhale through the lips like you're blowing through a straw or blowing some bubbles. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the lips. And just continue with this breath. directing the exhales to any area of the body that feels tense, that you want to release. And perhaps if you can, make your exhales longer than your inhales. So your breath out may be longer than your breath in. And when we breathe like this, we're sending a message to the brain that we are safe, we are calm, we are protected. And that's exactly the state the body needs to be in to go into labour and to stay in labour. Take 2 more rounds of breath. And when you're ready, gently blink open the eyes and we'll start to move the body. So if you are sitting back onto the heels, maybe swing round and just cross your legs so that we're all in the same position. I'm taking my fingertips either side of the hips and I'm just going to start to stretch the side of the body. So I'm going to take a big inhale, reach to the sky and lean over to the side. Now really stretch with the fingertips and really open up through the side of the body. Find some space between the ribs and don't hold the breath here. Keep breathing through these movements. Inhale through center. Exhale over to the other side. Really, really nice. Stretching those fingertips, really finding space through the side of the body. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Remember, breathe out through the lips. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Really nice. Come back through to center. I'm going to take my right hand, and I am mirrored on this camera, so you can either watch me and copy my actions or you can listen to my voice. But I'm going to inhale, place my right hand over the left thigh. My other hand is just on my lower back or on the floor. Inhale, find some length through the spine, and exhale, twist around gently. So we just want a tiny, tiny movement here. We don't want any intense twists in pregnancy, but we're just finding a little bit of movement through the spine. Keep the breath going. Release back through to center. Take the other hand over the opposite thigh. Inhale, find some length. Exhale, gentle, gentle twist. Tiny, tiny movement. I actually challenge you to bring it in slightly, so make smaller movement than you think. Release back through to center. Take the hands onto the thighs or the knees, and we're just going to start to circle out around the pelvis. So introducing some movement into the upper body. And we're also gently stretching out the pelvic floor here as well. Really nice. Let's go in the opposite direction. And then from here, lean back onto your hands. So your hands are just falling behind you. We're placing the feet flat on the floor, wider than hip width. And we're just going to windscreen wipe the knees from side to side. So allow knees to drop from one side to the other. And it doesn't matter if they don't meet the ground. This is just about exploring the range of movement in your body. And often it's different in pregnancy. Often we can find we're more flexible in pregnancy because we have this incredible hormone called relaxin that is designed to make more room in our body for our babies to move out. But it affects every part of the body throughout pregnancy. So sometimes we can find we have more space, but then we have to be careful just to not overstretch. Take one more on each side. If you've shuffled forward, don't worry, that's really normal. And then from there, we're just going to place the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to drop down to the floor, and take hold of the feet or the ankles and just take the gaze ahead of the toes. So we're gently softening the gaze, maybe even close down the eyes. And just really tune into that breath here. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the lips. Direct the exhale to any area of tension in the hips, and you might notice the knees can fall a little bit closer to the ground. One more breath. Really nice. And then from here, you can stay here or you can just cross your legs. I'm just going to talk you through something with my trusty pelvis. So we're going to move into some more upright and active birth positions now, which are all really normal postures within yoga, but they really lend themselves nicely to pregnancy yoga. So this is an adult pelvis. And what's incredible about the pelvis is this back section here, so the sacrum and the coccyx, are actually designed to move and flex. And so the reason that's relevant in childbirth in particular is that when the baby's head is descending into the outlet and it's going to come out of this part here, this back part of the pelvis can flex out like a trapdoor and create up to 30% more space in the pelvis for the baby's head to pass through. So when we are upright or forward leaning, there's lots of space for the back of the pelvis to move. If we're lying on our back, then this part of the pelvis is restricted. Now, that's not to say that you cannot give birth lying on your back. I've given birth lying on my back and it works. But if we're working with physiology, then often these instinctive upright or forward leaning birth positions are really optimal to allow lots of space for baby to move through the pelvis. Now, if you know that you're planning a C-section, this is still really relevant because all of these positions that we're doing can be done throughout pregnancy, and they're really brilliant for making loads of room for baby, for giving baby a chance to move around into an optimal position. So they're still absolutely relevant, whatever type of birth you are planning. So having said that, let's move around onto all fours. And this is often a very instinctive birth position that women choose to move into when they're in labour. And it's not something that's a conscious decision, they just instinctively want to go there. And just sway the hips from side to side, just releasing that lower back. And you might just feel things start to settle into place. Get back into that rhythm of breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the lips. And then from here, I'd like you to step the right foot to the outside edge of the right hand. So we're in this sort of lunge position. Now we're going to rock forward. So we're going to bend the front knee and we'll feel a stretch through the left hip flexor here. And then we're going to rock back and feel a stretch through the right hamstring. And we're going to flow backwards and forwards with the breath. So this is a really nice moving stretch. We're paying attention to two often neglected parts of the body, the hip flexors and hamstrings. We spend a lot of time sitting in our modern lives, and these two parts of the body can get really tight. If you want to bring in the breath, we inhale as we rock forward and we exhale as we rock back. Next time you rock forward, nice deep bend in that front knee, plant the left hand down onto the mat and we're opening up through the chest. Take the right hand up to the sky. Maybe take the gaze up to the top hand. Keep the breath going here. Right hand comes down, right foot steps back, and let's just sway out those hips. So let's restack into tabletop, and we'll go on the other side. So left foot steps to the outside edge of the left hand, and we're going to start to rock backwards and forwards. So forwards, we're stretching out that right hip flexor this time. Back, we're stretching out the left hamstring. Inhaling as we rock forwards, exhaling as we rock back. Really nice. Next time we rock forward, plant the right hand down onto the mat, opening up through the chest. Left hand goes high. Take the gaze up to the top hand if that feels comfortable. Breathing here. Really, really nice. Left hand comes down, left foot steps back. And from here, we're going to move into a puppy pose. So we'll restack into that tabletop position, but we're going to walk the hands forward so they're ahead of the shoulders. And from here, we're going to melt the heart down, guiding the forehead down to the mat. So the bottom stays high and the heart is melting down towards the ground. And we'll get a really nice stretch across the chest, across the shoulders. And this one is particularly good for postnatal as well, because we spend a lot of time hunched forward over our babies. We spend a lot of time pushing the pram, driving. So this is a really lovely way to open up that upper part of the body. Breathing here. Start to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. And then we'll kind of come up to a high kneel. Squeeze the bottom underneath, so you might feel a stretch through the hip flexors, and we're placing the hands onto the lower back, drawing the elbows together. And really, really gently, we're just going to shine the heart forward, take the gaze upwards, and it might not even move into any sort of back bend, but we're just opening up across the chest and across the front of the body. Try and keep the breath going here. And again, it's often a posture that's neglected in pregnancy. Keep the bottom squeezed. Moving back into that 4-point kneeling. And then from here, we're going to take a child's pose. So nice wide knees, about mat width apart. Big toes touch at the back, sit back onto the heels. And then walk the hands forward, guiding the forehead down to the mat. Close down the eyes. And if this feels uncomfortable, you can just come up into a comfortable seated position. But we're just going to take a few breaths here. So find your rest position of choice. And switch on the breath, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the lips. And just notice what's happened to the mind, because often when we quieten down the body, the mind starts to get busy. So if you feel those thoughts rushing in, that's absolutely fine. Just acknowledge them with kindness. Maybe try and push them to one side. And if you need something to concentrate on, you can focus on the breath. Use the breath as an anchor to keep your focus. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the lips. Take 2 more rounds of breath. And then start to move yourself back into that all fours position. We're going to gently start to work the core a little bit, but in a really appropriate way for pregnancy. If you find that this is a lot on the wrists, because we're doing quite a lot on all fours, you can just simply come onto the fists just to give the wrists a little break. So from here, we're going to extend the right leg out long, keep the toes on the floor. And then when you feel steady, we're going to lift that right leg off, point the toes and squeeze the right bum cheek. So we're really nice and strong through that right leg. And then we're going to draw the right leg in. If we didn't have a big pregnant bump, then we would be aiming for knee to nose. Obviously, that's not possible. So we're just going to extend back, squeeze that right bum cheek, point that toe really nice and strong through that back leg, and then draw it in, knee to nose. Extend it out long. One more. Now, option to just carry on here for 3 more, or you can bring in the arm. So once you've extended that arm out, that leg out, sorry, you can extend out the left arm to the opposite arm, and then we draw knee to elbow. Arms just optional, you can just keep with the legs. 2 more. Last one. Extend it all out and then restack into that tabletop position. Sway out the hips, just have a little breather before we go on the other side. So left leg extends out long. Make sure you feel nice and stable before you lift it off. Point the toes, squeeze the left bum cheek, draw the knee in, knee to nose. Extend it out long. Knee to nose. Stretch it out. 1 more. Option to bring in the arm. Right arm extends out long this time, knee to elbow. 2 more. Last one. Really nice. Extend it out and then restack into that tabletop position. Give the hips a little sway. Imagine you've got a big bushy tail. You're giving it a sway from side to side. Really nice. Now from here, we're going to move into downward facing dog. Now obviously, as with every posture, this is optional, but it is safe to do in pregnancy if it feels okay for you. If you'd rather not do downward dog, you can stay here, or you can just simply come down into forearms and it just replicates that posture in a more gentle way. So if we're going into down dog, we're going to tuck the toes, sit back onto the heels and push the bottom into the air. So heels are nice and heavy. We're pushing that tailbone high, strong through the hands, so we're guiding the chest towards the thighs. Remember to keep breathing here. And then everyone just meet back in tabletop and we'll just sway out the hips. Just see how that felt. How did it feel for you? Might be the first down dog you've done in pregnancy. So we just want to make sure that it feels really nice and safe. It feels good. If you want to go back into it, if you're feeling okay, we're going to tuck the toes, sit back onto the heels, downward facing dog. Keep the breath going. From here, we're going to bend the knees and walk the feet towards the hands. Now we want a really nice wide stance with the feet. So I would take them mat width apart, so wider than you would normally have them. And we're going to take a forward fold here. So we want the fingertips in contact with the mat. So bend the knees as much as you need to get that contact. It's much better to have this than this. So bend those knees, and then once you've got that contact, you can focus on gently stretching out the backs of the legs, pushing that tailbone high. Find that stretch through the back of the body. Try and release the head if you can, if it feels safe and steady for you, just so we're not holding tension in the neck. And then from here, we're going to roll up to standing. So really, really gently uncurl the spine. 1 vertebrae at a time. Until we're in an upright position. Keep the feet where they are because we're going to come straight back down through an malasana, which is a squat. So we're going to turn the toes out to 45 degrees. Inhale, reach up to the sky, palms touch. And as we exhale, we're going to sink the hips down and we're moving into a squat position. Let me just turn to show you what it looks like from the front, but you guys just stay where you are. So we're in this sort of squat position here. It's called a yogi squat or a malasana. This in itself is an active birth position. So it's really nice to try out, see if it's accessible for you, see if it feels good. And then from here, we're going to rock onto all fours and we're back in that tabletop position. So that little sequence there that we just did is a modified sun salutation. So if you practiced yoga before, you might be familiar with a sun salutation. So we're going to do 2 more rounds of that flow just to build a little bit more warmth and strength into the practice. So we'll start off by moving into downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, sit back onto the heels, push the bottom into the air. Take a breath here. Bend the knees, walk the feet towards the hands. Nice wide stance with the feet, mat width apart. Bend the knees as much as you need to get that contact with the mat. Take a nice breath here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the lips. Rolling up to standing. Uncurl the spine. Really try and avoid any sort of head rush. Really nice and gentle. Roll the shoulders back and down. Turn out the toes. Inhale, palms touch at the top. Exhale, sink the hips down, Malasana. Take a breath here if you can. Trying to find some length through the collarbones. Rocking onto all fours. Give the hips a little sway before we move through that one more time. Let's start by moving into downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, sit back onto the heels, push the bottom into the air. Inhale. Exhale. Bend the knees, walk the feet towards the hands. Nice wide stance with the feet. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rolling up to standing. Exhale as you roll the shoulders back and down. Turn out the toes, inhale. Exhale, seat comes down to the ground, Malasana. Take a breath here. And then from here, we're going to move back onto all fours and move straight back into our child's pose or a rest position of choice. So if child's pose isn't feeling good for you this evening, just take a comfortable seated position. And once again, close down the eyes. Switch on the breath. And just notice how it feels just to be lying here in the quiet and the stillness. And just know that it's very normal to feel slightly impatient or maybe even agitated. Taking that time just to be in the present moment is so rare in our modern lives. Even when we are relaxing in the evening, we've got the TV on or we're scrolling through our phones, or even just listening to some music is a distraction. So taking that time just to be is not only important, but it takes some practice. One of my favourite sayings is, we are human beings, not human doings. And right now, you're going through an incredible, transformative time. It's so easy for everything to be focused on the future, to be looking forward towards the birth or what's going to happen when the baby arrives. And actually, taking a few moments just to be present in the pregnancy, honouring this incredible time, is really powerful. From here, let's start to move back into our tabletop position. We're going to make our way to standing and move through a few standing postures. So let's move back through that sequence so we can get up into a standing position. So we'll tuck the toes, sit back onto the heels, move through downward facing dog. Take a breath. Bend the knees, walk the feet towards the hands. Find that forward fold. Now the feet can stay about hip width apart.
if that feels comfortable. But if you feel more stable with a wider stance, then obviously that's absolutely fine. Rolling up to standing, uncurl the spine one vertebrae at a time. And roll the shoulders back and down. Now, before we move into any other postures, I just want us to take a second here in Tadasana. Tadasana is a very, very simple posture, but it's a reminder of how important it is for us to check in with our posture. So we're going to start with the feet hip width apart, really grounded down into the mat. Lift the kneecaps, engage the thighs, squeeze the bottom underneath. Roll the shoulders back and down and turn the palms to face forward. Imagine that piece of string pulling your head up to the ceiling. And maybe close down the eyes. And just take a couple of breaths here. And just check in with the body, see how it feels. It's really normal for it to feel quite intense to stand in this Tadasana position. And it can come as quite a surprise, because it's such a simple posture. Take 2 more breaths. And then blink open the eyes. And we're going to move into Warrior 2. So take a wide stance with the feet. And then we're going to turn the right toes to the top of the mat. So the heel of the right foot is in line with the instep of the left foot. Nice deep bend in this right knee. You might want to widen your stance once you bend that front leg. Extend the arms out long. Gaze over the front middle finger. And make sure the knees aren't knocking in. So we want the knee to be guiding over the toes. Squeeze the bottom underneath. Hug baby in. Imagine the arms are being pulled in opposite directions. And then imagine that the feet are really velcroed to the ground, but then you're going to draw them towards each other. That really switches on the legs. So this is a really nice, strong position here. Let's just take a little bit of pressure off the legs. So we're going to inhale, straighten the front leg. Palms touch at the top. Exhale, bend the knee. Warrior 2. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Really nice. Flip the front palm and reverse the warrior. So right arm goes up to the sky. Left hand just rests on the back thigh. Keep the breath going here. Arms come back through. Warrior 2. And then the right forearm rests on the right thigh. Left arm reaches overhead. Keep the breath going. Try not to hold the breath here. This is extended side angle. Bring the arms back through Warrior 2. And then the left arm is going to windmill over the top so that we frame the front foot with the leg, with the arms. We're going to drop the back knee and then step the right foot back. Just give the hips a little sway. From here, tuck the toes, sit back onto the heels, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, walk the feet towards the hands. Forward fold, and then gently roll up to standing. Roll the shoulders back and down. And we're going to turn so we're facing the long edge of the mat. Take a nice wide stance with the legs again. This time, the left leg points to the short edge of the mat. Nice bend in that left leg. Extend the arms out long. Gaze over the left middle finger. Let's flow with the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Flip the left palm, reach to the sky. Reverse your warrior. Keep the breath going here. Legs stay exactly where they are. And we're reaching up rather than back. Really nice. Arms come back through warrior two. Left forearm to left thigh. Right arm reaches overhead. Extended side angle. Windmill the arms back to warrior two. And then that right arm windmills over the top. Frame the front foot. Drop the back knee. Step the left foot back. And let's take a child's pose or a rest position here. Walk the hands forward. Closing down the eyes. And again, just notice how it feels to be in the stillness. Maybe use that breath as the anchor that you need just to stay in this present moment and just keep those thoughts at bay. Take 3 more breaths. And then from here, just gently guide yourself back into all fours and then swing your legs around just so that we are sitting back onto the bottom. Lean the hands back onto the mat, feet wider than hip width, and we're just going to windscreen wipe those knees once again. And just notice, hopefully, you feel like you've got a little bit more space in the pelvis and the hips. Quite like to do this one at the start of class and then at the end. You can just feel the difference. 1 more on each side. And then from here, we're going to move into our guided relaxation. So the lovely thing about being at home is that you can take this wherever you want. You can lie down on the mat, you can lie on your side, you can lie on the sofa, on the bed, wherever you are. Just get yourself set up so that you're really, really comfortable. And once you're there, I just want you to close down the eyes. Just take a last couple of wriggles. Let everything sink into place. And take a deep breath in. And a slow, gentle breath out. Feel your body soften. Feel your breath settle. Feel the quiet miracle of this moment. Pregnancy is a time of becoming, a time of transformation, not just for your baby, but for you. It's easy to focus on what is to come, on birth, on meeting your baby, on what lies ahead. But for now, in this moment, there is nothing to plan, nothing to prepare for. Only this, only now. Your body is already doing everything it needs to. Your baby is already growing in perfect time. There is wisdom in this pause. There is beauty in this waiting. Breathe in gratitude for this journey. And breathe out any pressure to rush ahead.
breathe in the deep connection between you and your baby. And breathe out any thoughts pulling you away from this moment. Your body is sacred. Your baby is safe within you. And you are enough exactly as you are. Feel the quiet strength of your body, the deep intelligence that holds and nourishes this life. For months, your baby has been listening to the rhythm of your heart, floating in the warmth of your body, receiving love through every breath you take. Right now, you are their whole world, and right now, you are exactly where you need to be. Let yourself be held in this truth. Let yourself rest in this moment of pure presence. Pregnancy is not just a passageway to birth. It's an experience all on its own. A sacred time, a fleeting time. Honour it, treasure it, live in it. Breathe in love. Breathe out gratitude. And as you rest here, know that you are whole, you are strong, and you are already everything your baby needs. And when you're ready, you can gently bring some movement back into your fingers and your toes. Slowly awaken, carrying this sense of peace and presence with you. Take a deep, grounding breath in. And exhale softly. And when you feel ready, gently open your eyes. And if you would like, you can join me by bringing your hands to heart center. Raise the thumb knuckles to the space between your eyebrows as we bow together. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you have a really nice sleep tonight. If you want to practice with me anymore, you can do online. I've got a 6-week course starting next Wednesday, and I teach postnatal courses as well, 4-week courses, and they're all on my website. So it'd be lovely to have some of you there. But thank you so much. If you've got any questions, please feel free to message.